Hi, in this video we're going to take a look at transformations of functions, and just simply put, transformations include changes in the location of a graph on the coordinate plane. We're going to take a look at three different things that change the graph. There are more than three, but for this lesson we're going to just take a look at three. I call it the navigation system for all functions. Because it basically is a GPS system. It reminds me of where to basically drive your function on a coordinate plane. So the three values that we're going to look at in this video, and again there's more than three, but for all practical purposes, because I don't want to confuse in these beginning levels, we're only going to look at three, and three is enough, is the value of A, and H, and K. These are the three numbers that you can remove from this template and put new numbers into. So the rest of it, f of x and the minus and the plus, all stay pretty much the same. You don't have permission to alter those unless certain values of H and K are put into the template, and then we can look at some changes, but we'll cross that bridge in a minute. All right, so let's take a look at what each of these characters do. Whenever you put a number in for the value of A that's negative, it will reflect the graph over the x-axis. Okay, so you want to look at a few examples. Notice that the value of A, which is out here in the front, is negative. And we can even have just a negative sign. The implication there is that it's -1. You can have fractions. It doesn't limit it to certain kinds of numbers. All right, next we're going to take a look at H. And H is the horizontal translations, and you can kind of make a connection between the H's. Also, what's distinct about the H is that it is with the value of x in the template. And so x is left and right. So horizontal is also left and right. So when H is positive, and you can write that in, when H is positive, the graph is going to shift to the left. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, so that it is a little confusing. You would think that it would go to the right, but it actually goes to the left, and there's a reason for that. If H is negative, then it's going to move to the right, H units. And here's some examples. So here we see a +2. So when H is positive, this graph is moving to the left 2. Here we have x minus 6, so H is negative, so it's moving to the right 6. And again, H is positive, and so it's going to be moving to the left 9. Okay, the value of K, when K is positive, it's going to go up. So these values are basically they say what they mean. They're not opposite. When K is less than 0 or when K is negative, then the graph is going to shift down. So here's some examples. K is positive, so it's going to go up 1. K is negative, so it's going to go down 12. K is positive, so it goes up 7. All right, here's some examples. And on this first one, what I did is I just basically defined A, H, and K based off of this template. We don't see a number out here for A, so it's the implication that it's 1 and it's positive. H is +5 and K is -2. All right, so what's the transformation? Well, it's moving to the left 5 and down 2. Now the question is H really a positive number? Well, when we put it back into the template, and again, remember, you don't have permission to alter this minus sign. When we put it back into this template and we look at it, we have a +5 in our original problem. Well, again, how did we alter it from negative to positive? And the only way we could have done that is if we had put in a negative. So now you can kind of see where it's moving to the left because it's -5. But we'll never see it written like this. It'll always be written like this. So I always tell students that x misbehaves. So anything with x misbehaves. And so whatever you think, you need to think the opposite of. And then the k value, actually we changed the plus to a minus, so if we could take it back to the plus, we have plus -2, and that shows that it goes down. So you can easily see that it's going to go down, but we're not going to write it like this. We're always going to be writing it like this. So the template was altered slightly to simplify it. So again, there you go. It gets a little, I know it's a little confusing, but just hang in there. So for number 2, if we do the same thing, we define a, h, and k. A is equal to -1, h is equal to -7, and k is equal to 3. Then this graph is going to reflect. It's going to move to the right 7, and it's going to go up 3. Why don't you try numbers 3 and 4 and then stop the video and see if you got it right. Okay, so A is 2, it's positive, so there's no reflection. H is 8, so it's moving left to right. K is positive, so it's moving up, down. Now you have to determine which direction. If H is positive, it's moving to the left. K is positive, so it's moving up. For the next one, it's a reflection because A is negative. And H is -1, so it's moving to the right. And K is 5, it's moving up, or excuse me, it's -5, so it's moving down. All right, so that concludes this video, and I hope it was helpful. Some of you missed class, and some of you just needed to see it again, so let me know if you have any struggles.